Hello nerds, welcome back to an episode of WNN, your source for the music and music production news. We got a lot of things to talk about today. New plugins, a lot of new plugins, an update to the DistroKid union situation, and more. Before we get started, make sure to hit the like button on this video, subscribe if you want to support the content. In our first story, PAPEN, a name I have not heard in a very long time, has released new plugins. They've released a new synth plugin known as Synfx, as well as Raw version 2, and the Soundbank Explorer X for Blue 3, and then new soundbanks for Albino 3 Legend. Not gonna lie, not my favorite user interface. Not the worst, not my favorite either. From the way they describe it here, they make it sound like it is used for noise rises and low drops in film. It makes sure that you do not have to search long for tempo-based audio FX sound. I mean, I guess that's something a bit different. I don't know why you'd specifically want to focus on synthesis for FX sounds when you could just have a synth that does everything and then do FX in it, unless it's got some specific stuff for that. It has different filter types, granular synthesis, and effects, as well as the ribbon controller for dynamic changes to sound. So apparently this is good for FX sounds. Let's hear what it sounds like. So far we got some white noise. Impressive stuff. Very impressive stuff. Okay, so we have the same thing going forward and backwards. Defects Twin, is that you? I don't understand what's with the white noise riser sounds, because that is without a doubt the easiest riser sound to make. You shouldn't even include those in here, to be honest. It makes me think that this can't do very much if that's like one of the things you're including several times. I don't want to subject myself or you to this much longer. Not even that it's bad, but I just don't want to hear a bunch of FX sounds. Okay, Raw 2. This looks like a submarine control panel. This costs $99. Okay. Alright. Apparently Noisia has used this before. They have a quote here. So apparently this synth has an edgy sound and it has appeared in many hardcore and hardstyle records. It's got two oscillators, each with an X and Y field, to distort the waveforms with phase distortion. You can draw your own waveforms and use them as LFO waveforms, creating unique wobble movements. Also features the ribbon controller. Doesn't really seem like they're adding a lot. It says that they've added all the great PAPEN, all the great PAPEN filters to shape your sound further, but in a refreshing twist, as well as the 32-step ARP/sequencer, as well as the preset bank manager. I wonder if Noisia still use this. So this one is $99. This UI feels really outdated in my opinion. It almost looks like an old Reason synth. Oh, do we have sounds for this one? No sounds for Raw 2. That's a shame. And then this other stuff here, you get the idea. The Soundbank Explorer X, as well as soundbanks for Albino 3 Legend. And you can get all of this with the Explorer 10 bundle. And it basically includes all of this. And the prices are here. It's going to be a lot to list, so just take a look at that if you're interested. In our next story, we actually got an update to the DistroKid union situation. For those of you that don't know, DistroKid formed a union about 10 months ago, and basically a lot of them were laid off. You can have your opinions. I have my opinions. I'm going to stay out of this one here. For those of you who don't know, DistroKid is one of the most popular platforms to upload your music to if you want to distribute it to Spotify, Apple Music, etc. And one of the reasons they are the most popular is because they are very affordable. I think it may be the most affordable if you plan to upload a lot of music per year. I'm not going to get into all the other issues DistroKid has had since its inception. They've had a lot of issues though. This is just another thing to add to that list. So 10 months after voting to unionize, DistroKid employees say management needs to return to the bargaining table. Another thing worth adding is that a lot of the people that were laid off were actually a part of their customer support team. And they've notoriously had pretty bad customer support. Basically, they're outsourcing it. Now they are stating that artist response times have improved by 74% over the past 3 months and 90% year over year. That's obviously going to be because they're paying them a lot less and they're able to hire a lot more people. Now, the question is, are they doing a good job though? Because I don't think they were doing that good of a job before. I would assume it's horrendous at this point. I don't think these people that they're outsourcing the customer support to know anything about DistroKid or about uploading your music to Spotify or wherever else people are having issues with their music being uploaded to. So 4 complaints have been filed against DistroKid with the NLRB, but said the labor body has effectively been rendered powerless by President Donald Trump. A month and a half ago, Trump fired an NLRB member, leaving the board with only 2 members, which is 1 below the minimum number required for it to legally function, which has made the NLRB unable to certify union elections or hear complaints from workers, therefore giving little recourse for the union to force DistroKid back to the bargaining table. All they can really work with at this point are public pressure campaigns. DistroKid could possibly hold out until the 1-year anniversary of the unionization vote, at which point they could legally challenge the union's right to continue representing employees. Hopefully it won't come to that, and the 2 sides will have a final contract ready to sign by next month. This is DistroKid, man. They're pieces of shit. They are pieces of shit. I don't think that's happening. In our next story, Korg has released the multi-poly native. We're going native. So if this sounds familiar to you, it's because there's a hardware version of it already. This is really all just blending together, in my opinion, at this point. We'll say this, the UI looks okay. It looks a little bit like, it looks a little bit like Pigments. This is the fully compatible software version of the hardware multi-poly, the multi-poly native, which is inspired by the Korg monopoly. It also sounds familiar just because of the fact they released a hardware version of it not that long ago. I think it was a few months ago at this point. Now, what is different about this one is this is the first software product to feature Korg's next generation analog modeling technology. What does that mean exactly? Don't fucking know. If you have the hardware multi-poly, you're eligible for a cross-grade license at the special price of $49. Lucky you. Amazing analog sounds that only digital can provide. What? How much do you guys think the regular price is? $200 fucking dollars. It's on sale for $150 until March 31st. Let's just hear what it sounds like. That sounds pretty good. Kick could definitely, I'm stuck in feedback mode. Kick could definitely use some soft clipping in my opinion. Some sort of clipping. It sounds good, but bro, it's really hard to justify paying $150 or $200 for a plugin when you could buy hardware. I'm not sure how much the multi-poly costs off the top of my head. I don't think it's that close to that, but this is a big but here. It's just lines of code, man, for $200 for 1 synth. Now, granted, it is probably a lot of lines of code, but that is a lot of money for this. I mean, hey, maybe it's worth it if it sounds good. Really wonder what the limitations of it are. It looks like it has a lot of stuff going on, actually. It's got multiple layers. Looks like 4 oscillators on each layer. See ring mod here. Looks like there's scale settings. There's the arpeggiator, layer rotate. There's like a chaos pad thing. Okay, yeah, this is kind of cool, actually. I'm gonna need it to do my dishes for this much. This actually seems to be a pretty good synth. It's more detailed than I thought it was going to be. There's a lot of sound design capabilities that you wouldn't have with Serum or Vital. Sorry guys, Serum or Vital. Having multiple layers with 4 oscillators each and the ability to blend between them could create some pretty interesting sounds, and it's pretty unique in my opinion. There's probably quite a bit you can do with this synth that you can't do with other synths, and there's probably quite a bit that you can still do with Serum or Vital that you can't do with this. And this could be a smart choice to add to your arsenal. Obviously, try at your own risk. Each voice has a virtual voice card where the oscillators, filters, envelopes, LFOs, and portamento circuits model analog hardware component variations. The multi-poly offers 4 oscillators per program for unusually thick, complex tones. Ayo. Classic digital or wave shaper oscillator types. And the classic oscillator models traditional analog synth oscillators, and with stunning fidelity and effortless thickness. All right, It's getting a little hot in here. The digital oscillators play wavetables with up to 64 steps, and it comes with 200 factory wavetables, and you can load your own wavetables also. It also has dual modeled filters and layer rotate, which sounds pretty interesting to me, which is inspired by the Monopoly's paraphonic mode, which cycled through 4 oscillators. And they have a demo version via the Korg software pass. Okay guys, that is it for this episode of WNIN. Make sure to hit the like button if you haven't, subscribe if you're new here. I'll see you guys next time.